can they do it again with Coach Jones leading yet another group, some new faces and new places all across the MEAC. So it's going to be an interesting season, exciting one as well, but in less than a month, we begin that season. Of course, the season always starts in Norfolk, and it ends in Norfolk as well. March 11th through 14th this season for the MEAC Men's Basketball Championship. Coming up, we're going to hear from each of the 8 programs. All of their student athletes and coaches are here on site, and they're going to give us insights into the season and hear some stories and predictions are coming up as well. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll start things off hearing from MEAC Commissioner Sonia Steels as she's excited for her 4th season as commissioner, but 23rd inside the conference. A lot of change inside those 2 decades. So stick around. This is the beginning of MEAC Men's Basketball Media Days on the MEAC Digital Network and ESPN+.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
At Wells Fargo, we believe that doing can make a difference. That's why we've donated over $2 billion to strengthen local communities over the last 5 years. From more than $710 million to help address housing access and affordability, to roughly $420 million to help small business owners through nonprofits, to nearly $58 million to support scholarships and programming for students. Because doing gets it done.
There is a conference where the student and student athlete still matters, where geography means something, and where rivalries are measured in decades, not dollars. In this conference, we push one another to greater heights on the field, the court, the track, and in the classroom. Here, we stay true to our values, and we stay true to each other. The Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, where champions are made.
Brighter futures begin here with students and faculty that bring campus projects to life with help from the Home Depot Retool Your School grants. With these grants, HBCUs have built innovative learning lounges, revitalized rec areas, and created peaceful wellness spaces, providing students with areas to learn, relax, and thrive. Through their dedication to uplifting their campuses, HBCUs are growing stronger, one grant at a time, one project at a time, one community at a time. Learn more at retoolyourschool.com. Retool Your School. We're powered by purpose.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
Welcome back into MEAC Men's Basketball Media Day as we roll along here this afternoon. Mitch Brown here at the Waterside in Norfolk, live on the MEAC Digital Network and ESPN+, presented by Wells Fargo. Now is the time that everybody is waiting for, at home at least. The predicted order of finish in the preseason, voted on by the coaches and sports information directors from all 8 institutions inside the MEAC. Let's get a drum roll and roll that graphic up. Starting at number 8 is Coppin State. Number 7, Maryland Eastern Shore, is a tie for 5th. So you have at 5, Delaware State, and 5 as well, North Carolina Central. Morgan State comes in at number 4. South Carolina State comes in at 3, and Howard University at number 2. And the reigning champions inside the league, Norfolk State, comes in as the preseason number 1 inside the MEAC once again. Our preseason player of the year comes out of Orangeburg, South Carolina. South Carolina State sophomore guard Jaden Johnson has been named the MEAC preseason player of the year, voted on by the coaches and sports information directors. He was all MEAC last year, on the all MEAC rookie team last year, and he was part of that South Carolina State team that helped lead the Bulldogs to the regular season co-championship. And they came so close inside that tournament title game. But Johnson highlights the first team on the preseason alongside Chris Flippin from UMES, Howard's Bryce Harris as well, who had these same honors 2 years ago on the first team, Khalil Horton from Coppin State, and Delaware State's Ponce James. This is the first team all-conference team in the MEAC. If you want to see the second team and the third team, you'll be able to see that on MEACsports.com. But a lot of sharpshooters on that first team and a lot of bruisers inside the front court as well. The MEAC always competitive, so 3 all-MEAC teams released this morning inside the conference. You can find that on MEACsports.com. So without further ado, we're going to take one more timeout, and we will start hearing from these student-athletes and coaches. We're going to start with Coppin State coming on stage up next as we roll along here at MEAC Basketball Media Day. Stick around right after this timeout. We'll see you then.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
At Wells Fargo, we believe that doing can make a difference. That's why we've donated over $2 billion to strengthen local communities over the last 5 years. From more than $710 million to help address housing access and affordability, to roughly $420 million to help small business owners through nonprofits, to nearly $58 million to support scholarships and programming for students. Because doing gets it done.
There is a conference where the student and student athlete still matters, where geography means something, and where rivalries are measured in decades, not dollars. In this conference, we push one another to greater heights on the field, the court, the track, and in the classroom. Here, we stay true to our values, and we stay true to each other. The Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, where champions are made.
Come to South Carolina State University. Here you'll find unlimited possibilities for wherever you want your college career to take you. Since 1896, we've trained generations of scholars and leaders, building a legacy of excellence. Explore our stellar academic programs, including nuclear engineering, military science, biology, education, computer science, agribusiness, and more. Enjoy student-focused activities and organizations and discover your passion. Dare to be great. Enroll now and join our legacy of excellence at South Carolina State University.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
Welcome back inside MEAC Basketball Media Days. Mitch Brown joined alongside the Coppin State Eagles. They're the first men to join us on the stage here this afternoon. I have with me head coach Larry. Sorry, I'm blowing your name right now. I've got head coach with me of the Coppin State Eagles, Larry Stewart. I don't know why I wanted to say Scott, but I got your name right. Cameron Sparrow, as well as Tyler Koenig. Guys, and I'll start with you, Coach. Entering year 3, for your program this year, where do you see the growth compared to this time when we sat here last year? Where do you see the growth this October?
Well, I mean, it's with the way the game is today, it's hard to kind of like answer that question because this year we brought in 14 new players. And so the one thing that I can say about these new guys is that they are already bought in. And so I can start with that. You know, they're already bought into the culture. They understand where we have been the last couple of years, you know, as far as record-wise, and they're coming in with a mindset of change and wanting to put this school and put this men's basketball program back on the top of the echelon in the MEAC.
Talk me through that process. 14 new players. I know Cam was here last year, but that's a lot of recruiting and then acclimating to campus. What has this process been like for you this offseason?
Oh, it's just been madness. I mean, it's been every day, you know, it's something new. You know, again, you're recruiting players, you're recruiting family, recruiting AAU coaches, and so it's just a nonstop process. But, you know, this is just as where we are in today's basketball game. And so, you know, you just have to adjust. You know, as coaches, we have to adjust and just enjoy the process.
Tell me about these two right here. You have them here because they're expected to be leaders of your program. And why did you see that in them, and how quickly did you know? I know Cam was here last year, but, you know, Tyler was going to be a leader on this team as well.
Well, I will start with Tyler since he's the newcomer. Ever since we started recruiting Tyler, he hasn't changed. I mean, from day one up until now, he's the same player. Just all about his business, wanting to get better, wanting to gain knowledge, and he's just a joy to be around because, he's just a type of person and player who just seems to enjoy life, And Cam, he's 3 years in the program. He came off an injury, during the off season, and so it took him some time to get himself together. But I've seen a lot of growth for him off the court and just understanding what we want to do as a program, and him coming in and leading all of these new players for us.
Tyler, I'll start with you. What sold you on coming under Coach Stewart in that Coppin State program?
Well, I want to start off with just thanking Coach for bringing me here. Getting recruited by Coach Stewart, I obviously had to put in a lot of time into seeing what I was coming into. And seeing what Coach had to provide and explain, I really felt like I could buy into this program. And I really saw the growth, and I saw what he was trying to rebuild, and I wanted to be a part of that.
You went from Division II up to Division I. What's your message to all the high school student athletes out there that, might be thinking Power 5 and, this and that, but you started at D2 and now you find yourself at home in a Division I program that has history and lineage. What's your message to student athletes that maybe see your journey?
My message would be always give your 100. I remember I wasn't being recruited during the season. It was after the season. So always give my hardest, whether it was on the court, off the court. Sending that message that you're always there, always willing to work, is something that I feel like a coach will definitely see and want. That's something that I truly believe that high school players and players who want to take it to the next level should really strive for.
Cam, you're one of the old men on the team now, right? you go from the youngin to the old man. What are you seeing with this team that has you excited, especially with so many new faces in the building?
Honestly, I'd say our mindset and how we approach the game. With this group, the mindset we have now it's incredible. Everybody's on board. Everybody's always positive, keeping it going. And we all work hard. That's what I like about this group. We always work hard no matter what. And then nobody's scared to ask questions. Everybody comes to me asking questions, but I don't have all the answers. So, gotta ask Coach Stu. But, I mean, that's what I love about our group, man. And, we just
finding the answers. I like how you seek that out. And Coach, one of the answers for you this year will be to finish the game, right? I feel like we've talked about this before, about a dozen games last year. You're right there. So it's not a matter of, like, we're getting blown out or anything. We're right there. Is that kind of your mindset? Your feeling is like we're right there. We just got to turn the corner now.
Absolutely. One of my favorite phrases is be the best at doing the little things, because the little things win or lose you a basketball game. And so, a lot of times we are right there in those basketball games, and then it's just one of those little things that pop up at the wrong time that changes the game for us. And so we just continue to preach that message, continue to install that into their mindsets, and, eventually the coin is going to flip in our way.
Well, I will ask you this, guys, for your last question. When you think of this team, what's the one word that comes to mind? Tyler, I'll start with you.
I would start with grit. We definitely have grit. I see guys who are coming into a new setting who want something out of it, who are coming to practice every day, who want a piece of something. So,
I'd say determined. I'd say everybody on my team, we're determined to be the best, determined to be great, and, determined to get Coppin back to where it used to be.
Must mean practice is getting active.
Absolutely.
That smile says it all. The little things are knowing Coach's name. So thanks, Coach Stewart, for joining us. Thanks, Cam Sparrow and Tyler Koenig for joining us as well. Coppin State begins their season at Maryland on November 3rd. You play 6 straight on the road. Come back home at Central Penn on November 18th. So we're excited to watch your journey this season at Coppin State. Thank you for your time, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Coming up after this break, we're going to be joined by Maryland Eastern Shore. We'll hear from the Hawks up next.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
There is a conference where the student and student athlete still matters, where geography means something, and where rivalries are measured in decades, not dollars. In this conference, we push one another to greater heights on the field, the court, the track, and in the classroom. Here, we stay true to our values, and we stay true to each other. The Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, where champions are made.
Brighter futures begin here with students and faculty that bring campus projects to life with help from the Home Depot Retool Your School grants. With these grants, HBCUs have built innovative learning lounges, revitalized rec areas, and created peaceful wellness spaces, providing students with areas to learn, relax, and thrive. Through their dedication to uplifting their campuses, HBCUs are growing stronger, one grant at a time, one project at a time, one community at a time. Learn more at retoolyourschool.com. Retool Your School. We're powered by purpose.
From open house to acceptance, new student orientation, and picking the program that's just for you, it matters. From scholarships to meeting with advisors and making new friends, and all of the campus life and activities, it matters. With continued one-on-one support, student success planning, internships to graduation, and landing your dream job in your career field, it matters. Because at Delaware State University, it all matters.
Real recognize real. Real taste. Unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment. Crisp lemon lime. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
Welcome back as we roll along here at MEAC Basketball Media Days for the men's side. I'm joined now by the Maryland Eastern Shore men's basketball team. We've got head coach Cleo Hill Jr. with me. We've got student athletes Michael Teal and Zion Obanla. Coach, I spent some time in the Eastern Shore. First question I want to ask you, thank you for joining us.
Sure.
What's your favorite part of the Eastern Shore?
I think the fan base. I think our alumni is really, really strong at Maryland Eastern Shore. Princess Anne is not very big, but our alumni base is.
And Zion, as you take a step as a leader of this team, and the same for you, Michael, what has been the most exciting part of this journey so far? I know we haven't gotten into the nitty-gritty, but you guys have been linked up since the summertime, going at it.
I'll say it's just like the bond we have as a team, like how everybody's willing to learn and listen. So like I feel like that's just a stepping stone in the direction we're trying to take into winning, MEAC.
What about you, Mike?
Just being around the guys. I think we got close around July, just being around each other, playing, joking, just being around. It's just the 12 new guys. Some people look at it as really hard, and we took on that challenge, and I feel like we did a really good job so far with more to come.
Coach, we've been hearing these numbers in the double digits, right, of turnover on teams. What has it been like to get them in, get them acclimated, right? A lot of people don't transfer, let alone have to go to a new locker room. So what has it been like to see these young men come in and get them acclimated?
Well, it's the state of college basketball right now with the transfer portal. For us at Maryland Eastern Shore with 12 new guys and 3 returners, it's been great. Like Mike said and Zion said, the energy has been good. We've made a whole lot of changes to our campus, to our locker room, to the men's basketball court, the weight room, so we're excited.
Yeah, that's just what we want to hear, more lifting, right? Throwing some weight around. Yeah. So when we talk about all of these new innovations and renovations on campus, how have you seen the buy-in from this new group kind of come around now as we get to October, less than a month away from the season?
Yeah, no, it was great to see it during the recruiting process. During the recruiting process, we had guys come on campus, and the renovations hadn't started yet. So they had to believe in myself and VP Owens. But I thought it came around. As soon as they got there, the renovation started. First with the weight room, first with the locker room, then with the weight room, and it's been continuing. Yep. So the guys see the growth, and the campus is excited.
Fellas, tell me what this team, you guys are the ones inside the lines, right? Tell me what it's been like getting to know these guys on the court. What does this team play like? What does the style feel like?
our play style is playing hard. You know, we give it all when we're in between them lines. It's like all in. Every distraction outside is just like, it just vanishes. When we in between them lines, it's just strictly business. We're just playing hard.
Man, this team competes. Competes. I feel like that's the great word because we go into practice knowing we're all competing for a spot, all being new guys, but not letting that get the best of us at the same time. Competing in a good way.
And Zion, for you, you know, coming from the CIAA and stepping up to this level, we just had Tyler on stage talk about it. What is your message as we see more student athletes go from the lower levels, right, to Division One and step up into that realm? What's your message for anyone that might say, I'm a late bloomer or I just really didn't get recruited as much? What has your journey been like in message?
I would say my message is don't be complacent. You know, like, don't feel like you're there. Keep pushing, keep going, keep seeing how far you can get. Like, that's my message I'll say to them.
And Mike, as a leader of this team, take me back to, you know, earlier in March, right? Season concludes for you. What was kind of your message, and how have you kind of seen it come to fruition in the way that, you know, people are going?
That's a great question. Just talking to the guys, I mean, just put your head down and work. You know, nothing is ever gonna just come to you. You got to go get it. So, being able, when I got with the guys, it was just put your head down and work for what you want, and you're gonna get what you want out of it.
Coach, they talk about the style of this team, the hard work, the grit that we'll see. What do you think is gonna be the key thing for you to do day in, day out, right, for you all on game night to come away with some more wins this year?
Yeah, I think like both Mike and Zion said, I think the chemistry is going to be key for us to keep building that. And once we have the chemistry, and again, like Michael said, the guys compete very hard. I've been coaching a long time, and I don't think I've had a team that competes like this day in and day out on the basketball court, off the basketball court, in the weight room, and in the classroom. So it's going to be exciting for us.
Walk me through these 3 weeks before you get to tip off. What does this look like? What is this process like for fans out there that aren't inside the gyms, right? Like, what is the 3 weeks leading up to tip off like?
Yeah, and again, the competition is real. We have 15 guys, and I know that's been the theme of us of talking up here, but we have 15 guys. Most teams in the country don't play all 15. So you're probably fighting for 10 spots. So for myself and my coaching staff, which 10 guys understand what we're doing as a coaching staff and as a program the best, those are the guys that will get the first nod. We have exhibition games against Bowie State, close scrimmage against Virginia Union, and those will separate, the cream will begin to rise to the top in those 2 exhibition games. For the guys that are in that bottom 5, they don't need to get discouraged. It's a long season. We have a tough schedule, a lot of games, and everybody will get their chance.
And those chances coming up on November 3rd, and it's going to be a great start for you guys. You guys are going to be in the Peach State. You're going to be at Georgia Tech. You got Georgia. Those are an ACC and SEC team. How excited are you for your guys, all this competition, banging against each other, to go against another Jersey of that magnitude out the gates?
Yeah, that's what we've been talking about. We're tired of seeing each other fight against each other, so we want some new meat out there. We definitely want to get a chance to go to another school in an environment that's not our own. It's going to be hostile, I know, at Georgia Tech and Georgia. So we're excited. Those are just 2 of the tough games that we have this season. We got a tough trip with Creighton, Nebraska, Virginia Tech. So we're ready. We're ready for the challenge.
Cannot wait to see you guys in a couple of weeks. You get your season started in Georgia. We'll be following along. University of Maryland Eastern Shore joining us on stage. Gentlemen, appreciate your time this afternoon. Best of luck this season.
Thank you.
All pride.
We will be right back after this quick break. Delaware State joins us on stage up next as MEAC Men's Basketball Media Days roll on here on the MEAC Digital Network and ESPN+.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
Right Brighter futures begin here with students and faculty that bring campus projects to life with help from the Home Depot Retool Your School grants. With these grants, HBCUs have built innovative learning lounges, revitalized rec areas, and created peaceful wellness spaces, providing students with areas to learn, relax, and thrive. Through their dedication to uplifting their campuses, HBCUs are growing stronger, one grant at a time, one project at a time, one community at a time. Learn more at retoolyourschool.com. Retool Your School. We're powered by purpose.
At Wells Fargo, we believe that doing can make a difference. That's why we've donated over $2 billion to strengthen local communities over the last 5 years. From more than $710 million to help address housing access and affordability, to roughly $420 million to help small business owners through nonprofits, to nearly $58 million to support scholarships and programming for students. Because doing gets it done.
Coppin State isn't just a name, it's a legacy of transformation. From potential to excellence, we never settle. With renowned educators, cutting-edge programs, and the soul of Baltimore, we are the beacon that shines on the world, fueling a change that the world needs. In this moment, what do you want to be? Whatever the answer, let it push you to dream bigger, aim higher, and always choose to be more.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
Welcome back inside MEAC Men's Basketball Media Days. We're live at the beautiful Norfolk Waterside here on stage. Joining us now is the Delaware State's Hornets program, and we are joined by head coach Stan Waterman, preseason All-MEAC first-team pick Ponce James, and Zion Bethea as well. Coach, last year you guys finished third in the standings. This year you got some new pieces, but you got a first-teamer and you got a great supporting cast. So how excited are you? And you've got a new contract as well. So first, congratulations on that. But just talk to me about this team, what you've been able to build at Delaware State, and how important continuity and stability is to get to the vision that you have.
Sure. First, let me say thank you for having us. And we're excited about having the opportunity to be here and talk about the upcoming season. We are very excited about what is lying ahead for us with the returning guys that we have. We brought in 10 new players this season, but if the summer and the preseason work is any indication of what you can expect for this season, I'm excited about it, and we're really optimistic. Having a guy like PJ, who's now been through the MEAC for a year and kind of knows his way around the league, will be huge for us. And then we add pieces like Zion, guys who have proven at other levels that they can play to what we have, and I like the mixture.
When you look back, over the last 2 seasons, you guys had a spot in the championship game, right? So you know what it takes to be one of the last standing here in Norfolk in March. What have you told your group about your expectations for them this season, right? And how have you seen them kind of buy in to that since June and July?
Sure. Well, it's been a transformation project. That's what we've called it. And while it was nice to have that success a couple of years ago and reach the MEAC championship, we didn't win it. But each year we've kind of now set goals. We've kind of changed the culture. I think the expectation is to come in and compete for MEAC championship every year, and that's what we've tried to instill in our guys, and they are certainly working towards that.
Fellas, I'll start with you, PJ. When you talk about that year of experience right inside the MEAC, what was it like around that time, kind of going and learning in real time, and how comfortable do you feel as a leader on this team now with that year under your belt?
Yeah, last year as a freshman, I had a lot of older guys on the team last year that helped me get through it, and Coach Stan talked me through it. And I feel like this year, taking a leadership role, I also know the league, like they said, and I just know how to operate and know how to lead my guys.
Zion, for you as a new addition to this team, what do you bring to this team, and what is your role as one of the leaders on this team, on and off the court?
I bring a lot of experience to the team. We as a team, we all connect very well. We hang out on the court and off the court, and I feel like for me, it's just bringing a lot of experience and energy to the team.
PJ, I'm curious, when you reach that high, right, your freshman year, you're all MEAC rookie, and now your preseason first team, what does the work look like, right, in the summer to say, you know what, there is another level, and now getting that honor bestowed on you, congratulations, by the way, how much hungrier does it make you to not only live up to that, but maybe exceed it even more?
Yeah, I give all my glory to God. This summer, I lost 25 pounds. Last year I was 200. Now I'm like 175. Yeah, so I did a lot of work on my conditioning, and I'm just blessed to be acknowledged. But it doesn't matter if my team doesn't win, or if I don't exceed.
What have the practices been like from your perspectives? I know Coach is over here laughing, and so it must mean that you're getting to where you need to be as the season rolls around. What's it been like for you both?
For me, it's been great. Like, I feel like we're in a good spot right now with all the new guys coming in and everything like that. We're in a great spot. We compete every single day. That's the one thing that Coach writes on the board every single day, that we're going to compete and work hard. And if we do that, we're going to be in a great spot no matter what.
Coach, how rewarding is it to have a guy like this return? He's so young, right? And there's so much potential, but you're able to add, like you said, all these pieces. How much does it help to have a guy flanking, your team and being the leader that's growing within the program, right? Not coming in, growing within the program.
Sure, it's huge. I mean, you think about the influence and the impact that we have as coaches on a daily basis, whether it's recruiting or practicing or even the game stuff. But the real magic happens with these guys on the floor, holding each other accountable. As they talk about competing every day, our practices have been wars. I think we've got some depth, and every day it's a challenge. And iron sharpens iron, and I think we've been able to get better and improve, and that's a goal for us.
Give us, that haven't been inside Alumni Hall, kind of a glimpse into what it's like to play. What was it like last year as you guys started to get some momentum towards the end of the season? And Coach, I'll end with you on that.
Yeah, playing in there is definitely electric. The fans get into it, and the game's really fun.
Memorial Hall, I mean, it's a great place to play. We've got probably the oldest building in the league, but when the gym is full at capacity, which it has been for us for most of the season, and Hornet Nation gets behind us, that's a home court advantage for us, and we want to continue to have that and build on that.
And, I always ask about the schedule. For you, what was the strategy behind it this year? I know we know that you have to schedule tough games, but what excites you about this schedule that these young men are going to get the opportunity to prepare for March and January, February?
Sure. Well, I think that's it. You've touched on it, opportunity, and we talk about it all the time, to have the opportunity to compete against some of the best programs in the country and use it as a barometer for where we are, and it's a measuring stick for us. It's an opportunity for our guys to get some exposure. We scheduled a really tough schedule that we believe will prepare us for the battles that will come, once we get into MEAC play. We have a non-conference schedule. We'll open at Temple. We'll travel to Syracuse. We're at the University of Miami. Of course, we'll play the in-state rivalry with the University of Delaware. So we've got some games that are really going to prepare us and challenge us and really help us shape and form our identity as we head into MEAC play.
Gentlemen, always appreciate the time and appreciate you making the trip down from Dover. Looking forward to you all this season. Exciting times. Coach Waterman, Zion Bethea, and PJ Ponce James, our preseason All-MEAC first teamer, here on stage with us. Thank you, Delaware State, for your time.
Thank you for having us.
We'll be right back after this break. Joining us up next, we'll be joined by North Carolina Central. Their Eagles are coming up on stage. This is the MEAC Men's Basketball Media Day presented by Wells Fargo on ESPN+.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
There is a conference where the student and student athlete still matters, where geography means something, and where rivalries are measured in decades, not dollars. In this conference, we push one another to greater heights on the field, the court, the track, and in the classroom. Here, we stay true to our values, and we stay true to each other. The Mideastern Athletic Conference, where champions are made.
At Wells Fargo, we believe that doing can make a difference. That's why we've donated over $2 billion to strengthen local communities over the last 5 years. From more than $710 million to help address housing access and affordability, to roughly $420 million to help small business owners through nonprofits, to nearly $58 million to support scholarships and programming for students. Because doing gets it done.
See yourself here. Whether you're a first-year student or looking to complete your degree, Morgan State University's inclusive learning environment is home to more than 150 academic degree and certificate programs. Join Morgan's Momentum, Maryland's preeminent public urban research university, transforming today's learners into tomorrow's leaders in STEM, social sciences, and the arts. Start your journey today at the National Treasure. Choose Morgan.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
Well, they always say basketball country lives in North Carolina, and who better to have talk about hoops in North Carolina than the North Carolina Central Eagles. Joining us on stage with head coach Lavelle Moton. We also have Corey Carvey and Deontay Johnson alongside us. Gentlemen, appreciate you joining us from up the road, or from down the road, I should say. But, Coach, year 16 for you, season 16 with this program, and it seems like just yesterday that you were building this culture, right? And here you are. Each year you're able to bring in, some players that buy into the system. How have you been able to keep that staying power, and how have you been able to continue year after year, get these guys to believe in your vision?
I think when you're talking about staying power and consistency, it's bigger than me. Like when you're talking about a program, it's about not only the young men, student athletes that you bring in, but just our administration at the top and the support that they've given us throughout the years. My staff, obviously. And then you just got to be able to adapt each year, right? I always kind of liken it to an iPhone, right? Like, so when I started, it was an iPhone 2, but now I think they're on the iPhone 17. So you got to update your settings and restart your phone and hang with these young guys and figure out what's going on and what's hip in their culture, and that's how you create some staying power.
You return a nucleus, right, this season, and when you look at the red shirts and the additions that you made, walk me through this team and what you like about the makeup of it.
The first thing I like is that they're fun to coach, right? So I just always wanted to coach character and not characters, right? And so anytime you're coaching characters, it's not going to work. They're living together in one house, right? So that's a special thing right now where they can create some synergy and understanding and likeliness for one another. And obviously, these two guys right here that we brought along for the ride, we're going to depend on them heavily, right? There's no secret about it. DJ, I think, is the most experienced point guard or player possibly returning in the MEAC. So we're going to rely heavily on him. Last year was his first year with me, so he kind of understands what we're demanding of him and expecting of him. So there are times at practices this year, we let him run the first 15 minutes of practice, and he's done a wonderful job. And this young man to my right is a blessing to have, fun kid to coach, and we're going to rely heavily on him with an inside presence as well.
And last for you, Coach, since 2009, with this program, you've seen firsthand, and you're around those Power 4 schools in North Carolina, you've seen the landscape change.
Yeah.
How have you had to adapt in your approach that maybe worked in 2010 or 2012, to now in 2025?
Yeah, that's the tough thing. A lot of coaches, especially once they have success early, they don't want to adapt. But I'm the opposite. I'm always willing to adapt. Now, I'm not willing to negotiate the things that I stand firm on and believe, my core values, my principles, because those things are necessary and required for winning. But, I've been a little more receptive to allowing them to walk in the gym, and they play their music now. So instead of New Edition, it's NBA Youngboy or somebody like that, and I just got to bear it and stand it, and Pooh Shiesty and whoever else, like all these dudes. So I've been able to adapt, man, and what's helped me is my kids getting older has helped me become a better coach, right? Because I got to tolerate that now from my 12-year-old son and my 16-year-old daughter. So now they make life easier to adapt to them once I get to work.
Got some translators there.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to get them on staff. Deontay, I'll come to you now. You know, you set a school record for assists, and, you know, Coach looks to you as one of the coaches on the floor for this team. How have you tried to ascend your game this offseason and make sure that you're one of the leaders, not only off the court, but once again on the court?
First and foremost, I want to start off and say it's just my character. You know, I'm a leader on and off the floor. And this year, I know Coach and the rest of the team is leaning on me heavy, so I know for a fact I have to be there and show up every single day, whether I want to or not.
Corey, for you, when you see this team firsthand and you're down there battling on the front court, what has stood out to you about the competitive spirit of this team? What are you noticing, right, that makes you feel special about this team?
I feel like everybody just wants to compete. Everybody wants to win. So, you know, anytime, you know, down low, everybody's trying to dig down. We're all trying to fight for boards. Everybody just want to win.
How do you play a part in making sure that, you know, in the recruiting process, you're also a part of this as well. You're talking to the players firsthand. So how do you make sure that the vision of North Carolina Central is conveyed? Like, what is your role in that?
Mainly just trying to make sure everybody stays together. You know, we all play together as a team. You know, we talk, communicate. You know, just trying to figure out, making sure we all on the same page. So right now we've been doing good with that. You know, just been competing. Been playing together, so far I haven't had any issues with the team.
Is this the part of the season or the preseason, I should say, where you guys get excited because finally you'll stop playing against one another and you can start looking at the schedule a little bit? Is that part of the year right here?
Yeah, most definitely.
Definitely close to that time where we start seeking other opponents other than ourselves and just playing against each other.
What excites you about the schedule this year that you guys have?
Man, you know, we got a tough schedule, so, you know, I want to get some wins out to see if we could compete with others, high majors especially. So, you know, we playing some of these ACC teams. You know, I'm expecting us to go out, you know, just compete, play as hard as we can. Hopefully, you know, if we get the win, we can celebrate it. But, you know, I just want to compete. That's it.
Yeah.
And then, Coach, lastly for you, you just never know. It's any given night, and this is a new season, new canvas for you guys. When do you know that you guys are where you need to be, or does it happen in November, or does it kind of just take time? What's that journey like for you to kind of recognize?
You know, when you've had the success that we've had throughout the years, and I tell these guys all the time, you know what it looks like, you know what it feels like. Those things never change. The only thing that change are the pieces. And I always give them the learning curve, and for some reason, it kind of ticks off on Martin Luther King Day. Like, that's our barometer. That's the litmus test on, look, if you got it by now, you're going to take off. If you don't have it by now, you probably need to sit down for the rest of the year. And so I'm excited about this year's group because collectively they possess a higher basketball IQ than we had in the previous years. I think DJ can attest to that. And so it's a little more fun to coach, and, you know, they're competing and getting after it every day, and, you know, make no mistakes about it, our standard is our standard. So the standard and the things that we demanded of our kids in 2009, we still demand those same things in 2025. And so we're willing and ready to get out there and compete and see what happens.
We start pretty soon here, November 4th at NC State, and then at UVA on November 7th. So we're looking forward to yet another season of the Eagles flying high this year. So when we come back, we're going to continue moving along. Morgan State is up next. Gentlemen, appreciate your time. We'll take a quick timeout. This is the MEAC Men's Basketball Media Day presented by Wells Fargo on ESPN Plus and the MEAC Digital Network.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
Brighter futures begin here with students and faculty that bring campus projects to life with help from the Home Depot Retool Your School grants. With these grants, HBCUs have built innovative learning lounges, revitalized rec areas, and created peaceful wellness spaces, providing students with areas to learn, relax, and thrive. Through their dedication to uplifting their campuses, HBCUs are growing stronger, one grant at a time, one project at a time, one community at a time. Learn more at retoolyourschool.com. Retool Your School. We're powered by purpose.
There is a conference where the student and student athlete still matters, where geography means something, and where rivalries are measured in decades, not dollars. In this conference, we push one another to greater heights on the field, the court, the track, and in the classroom. Here, we stay true to our values, and we stay true to each other. The Mideastern Athletic Conference, where champions are made.
Embrace the bold and get ready to reveal the legacy within you. At North Carolina Central University, aspirations turn into achievement. We take flight. Join us if you're prepared to soar. Be bold. Be successful. Be an eagle. North Carolina Central University, where purpose takes flight.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
Welcome back in here in Norfolk at Waterside. It is MEAC Men's Basketball Media Days. Mitch Brown alongside the Morgan State Bears, joined now as we get ready to hear from head coach Kevin Brodus and student athletes Walter Peggs Jr., a preseason All-MEAC third-team selection, and Alfred Worrell Jr. Now, the Bears finished fifth in conference play last season, 7-7 in league play. Gentlemen, appreciate you joining me. Coach, we've been through this rodeo before, so I'm going to ask you again, what's the vibe been like as we approach about 3 weeks out from tip-off?
Very positive, very optimistic, and these guys are working extremely, extremely hard. And they're working together. It's the first time in a long time that guys are playing as a unit, and we're very optimistic.
It's always good to have, some veteran leaders, right? And then, preseason all-conference selections. What has stood out to you about these two guys right here? And then you can work down the roster or anybody else that has stood out to you.
The ability to score the basketball, where they came from, and they've, a lot of times it's behind you, but what they've done so far has been extremely impressive, putting the ball in the hole and actually playing on the other side of the ball, playing defense. These guys are making an extreme effort to defend. It's been a joy to watch and to coach. We have some other guys, Elijah Davis, unbelievable point guard, and Manuk Luau. These guys have taken us to another level, I think. And we got some big guys. We have a platoon of them, so they have really, really, stepped up. And then we got some returners, Rob Lawson, who's been with us for 3 years, who's elevated his game this year. So it's been a blessing. It's been really, really good.
As you mold the program into the vision that you have when you have those returnees, right? I know every year it's, a little bit of shuffle, but how have you evolved in your approach at Morgan State, since you started there?
Well, you come to the national treasure and you strive to be the best. And what has happened is pushing me to be the best. And sometimes I have to change my approach of how I see things and do things. And it's been really good. I'm just glad the patience has been there, and I think this is the year that we get over the wall.
Now, Walter, you're one of a few today that have been on stage and have made it, right, from Division II. So I'm going to ask you the same question. What is your message to anybody that maybe has a goal and maybe it's delayed? So now you're at Division I. To any student athletes out there that are trying to get to the same path that you have created?
A token of advice I would give to them, what somebody once told me, comparison is the thief of all joy. So as you're going along in your journey, you're going along in your process, truly understanding that is your story. It's your process, it's your journey. Looking over what the next man has could devalue what you have. So just really focusing on, the things that you have going on and controlling what you can control and leaving the things that you can't control, to guide me, my story, my journey. There's other things I couldn't control, but I left those things in God's hands, and that is what eventually elevated me to get to this stage where I'm at today.
Those beautiful words, man. And Alfred, for you, we just talked about both being from the DMV.
Yeah.
What's it like to be back home? You're out in Hattiesburg, but you're back home. And what was the selling point to come under Coach Kevin?
I mean, just coming back home was kind of like, being able to just come back. My mom and my dad wasn't being able to really come watch me play. I've been knowing Coach Brodus for a very long time now, and I feel like it was just the right spot just to come back home, kind of 50 minutes down the street. So I feel like it was a true blessing, just being able to play in front of the fans, play in front of my friends and family, to be able to just show what I can be able to do.
For you both, what is it like to be an underdog, right? And so that's going to start as soon as the season tips off for you, right? You got some tough games, but how do you like playing with that chip on your shoulder and with it not distracting you, right? How do you enjoy that as a competitor? I'll start with you, Walter.
To be honest, it's something I really don't focus on. Coach Brodus has been doing a good job, every day in practice, bringing a certain level of intensity. So each day, we're focusing on that day. So when our first game comes, we'll be focused on that day as well. So not really necessarily, a chip on our shoulder like you mentioned, but it's just taking it day by day. I feel like this team has really, came upon like this mindset of, what can I get done today? And how can I do it at the best of my ability? So I feel like that is something that, we've really, gotten good at.
So they always say, you're saying that we're underdog. A lie is only a lie if you believe it. So, who determines who's the underdog or the over and under, and I've always lived my life by that. When you believe that you're an underdog, then you go in and you're saying we're going to lose. So I always say, a lie is only a lie if you believe it.
There you go. And Alfred, I'll finish with you. I know you grew up in D.C., so the competitive nature there is already there. What has excited you about competing against these guys every day in practice that has you excited about the season?
I mean, we be competing at practice. Coach Brodus, we be going really hard on the defensive end, starting off. But I feel like it's been great, just being able to play against a couple guys, that's not from the DMV area. We got guys that spread it around from down south, from Florida, so we get a different style of basketball that's kind of inside of the program, but we being able to mesh it all together. I feel like this is a great group of guys. I love my team right now, and like what you were saying, what Coach and Walter was saying, I don't really feel like we're underdogs, and I just feel like we have something special that a lot of people just don't know or just don't see yet. But I feel like we got a lot of things that we're going to continue to do by God's grace.
I got to ask you this. You start the season at Georgetown against Georgetown. Yeah. How excited are you to have tons of family? And have you been asking for some of your teammates' tickets, if they
Yeah. I mean, it's great. It's definitely great being able to just play at Georgetown, being able growing up just going to Capital One arenas and watching Georgetown play. So being able to just play Georgetown for the first game, I mean, it's a true blessing. But I feel like we're ready. We're ready. I feel like we're going to bring it to them, and we're going to have some for everybody that kind of just feels like we're an underdog team or anything like that. So
it's just smoke for everybody, huh? Okay.
Yeah, man, so.
Coach, appreciate your time. Gentlemen, appreciate your time. Morgan State.
Thank you.
We're excited for the season. You guys tip off, again, Monday, November 4th against Georgetown, and then you got that home opener on November 6th against Central Pennsylvania College. Safe travels back up the road, gentlemen. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
When we come back, we'll be hearing from a couple more teams. We'll be hearing from South Carolina State, though. They're on deck on stage up next. This is MEAC Men's Basketball Day, presented by Wells Fargo on ESPN+.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
At Wells Fargo, we believe that doing can make a difference. That's why we've donated over $2 billion to strengthen local communities over the last 5 years. From more than $710 million to help address housing access and affordability, to roughly $420 million to help small business owners through nonprofits, to nearly $58 million to support scholarships and programming for students. Because doing gets it done.
Brighter futures begin here with students and faculty that bring campus projects to life with help from the Home Depot Retool Your School grants. With these grants, HBCUs have built innovative learning lounges, revitalized rec areas, and created peaceful wellness spaces, providing students with areas to learn, relax, and thrive. Through their dedication to uplifting their campuses, HBCUs are growing stronger, one grant at a time, one project at a time, one community at a time. Learn more at retoolyourschool.com. Retool Your School. We're powered by purpose.
As a top 10 public HBCU, the University of Maryland Eastern Shore has been creating opportunity for nearly 140 years. Opportunity to get an affordable, top-level education. An opportunity to be part of a family that celebrates you for who you are. First-generation college students, grandchildren of alumni, athletes, farmers, scientists, artists. We're holding open the door at University of Maryland Eastern Shore.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
Welcome back into MEAC Men's Basketball Media Day here at the Norfolk Waterside. I am joined by South Carolina State. The Bulldogs are here, and they are ready to bite down this season. I'm joined by head coach Eric Martin entering season 4. We also have Colin McKenzie and our preseason player of the year, Mr. Jaden Johnson. Gentlemen, appreciate you all coming down for this. My question to you, Coach, to start out, year 4, you had a tremendous year, got that co-regular season championship, and you were also MEAC Coach of the Year. How do you continue that and build on that stairway to success?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank God for all of the success we had last year, because without him, nothing is possible. But we just like to recruit uber competitive kids. We lost 6 out of our top 7. So we went out and got some guys, but we also have some returners that are now ready to lead. And that's why we were good last year. We had guys who led on the floor, and I think these 2 here can be leaders and get us back to where we are. But as you said, this isn't just a one-year deal. We're trying to make this the norm for us and get us back to where we were when Coach Cy Alexander had them winning championships every year. So we're healthy. I think we can achieve that.
Can you tell me more about Jaden and as the preseason player of the year? What stood out to you about him when he stepped on campus, and when did you know, oh, this kid's the real deal right away?
Yeah, so I in college I played with this guy named Nick Van Exel. He's
Wow.
really nice. I'm not saying he's Nick Van Exel, but he had some of Nick's, qualities, and he just had game. I knew he had to get stronger. I knew he had to get better in practice, but he was just someone who loved playing basketball. So he's someone who I thought with Mike Teal, Wilson Dubinsky, Mitchell Taylor, that he'd be a great fit. And those guys, you got to give them credit. They did a great job of teaching him how to be a point guard.
And Jaden, year 1, I mean, that's a pretty good start, right? So walk me back. We're here in March, right? You fall a little bit short. What made you say, or what was your message to your teammates after the disappointment that you felt?
For one, I figured like they weren't disappointed in me. I feel like they trusted me to, make that decision, and whether the outcome was good or bad, it was still love in that locker room after the loss. So that was the main thing for me, just, telling them like, you know, we're gonna be good, and them comforting me in that situation, me not never being in that position before, and yeah, they just did a great job doing that.
You know, Colin, for you, you appeared in 22 games last year, and, you know, Coach has you here because he's seen you put the work in. You're going to take the next step. What have you worked on and off the court to have yourself prepared so when November, you know, rolls around, everything that you did this summer shows in the game?
I would say I'm just really trying to be the best leader I can for this group. We got 6 returners coming back. We just want to make sure we're instilling that Bulldog tenacity and that culture that we built upon this last year. Some things I've worked on, just trying to add some more dimensions to my game, you know, not just being a catch and shoot, you know, dribble, pull up, stuff like that. So,
what stands out to you both about MEAC play?
The competitiveness, just going into every game. You never know who's going to have a great night, you know. Those are the main 2 things that stood out to me last year. Like, played against a bunch of great guards. You never know who's going to have a great game, a bad game. It's just, yeah, unpredictable. That's how I would say.
Can I ask you the toughest from last year, maybe the toughest road arena that you experienced?
For one, we just had this talk last night, actually. So, Central, I would say, nice environment. You know, they got fans on the court and stuff like that. So. Yeah. That was probably one of the main hardest places to play at last season.
Nice. Coach, I ask you because this year, you know, we can talk predictions and projections, but how has the chemistry been in terms of this part of the year? You know that, okay, we probably still have a little bit of work to do before tip-off, but how good do you feel about where you are, you know, with 3 weeks to go?
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do, to be totally honest. But our practices are competitive. I feel like we are more talented than we were last year. We are not tougher than we were last year. And I think that's how you win games in the MEAC and games at places like Louisville, at Missouri, we're at South Carolina, we're at Tennessee. You got to be tougher. But when you bring in 8 newcomers, I'm a lot better prepared for this group than I was for 2 years ago when I brought in Drayton and Dubinsky. You know, you got to be patient, and I've learned that over time, and I do think we'll be better in January than we will be in November, but we do need to get tougher, and we need to become better at our practice habits, to be totally honest.
You know, you did mention that last year, you're working on your patience, but if you think, you know, historically, you want to get back to where South Carolina State was, and there have been some down years, what was it like last year to see that excitement build as you guys started to peak towards the end of the season, into the tournament, and what's that excitement feeling like now on campus? Coach, I'll start with you and come to you guys as well.
Yeah, so we lost at Norfolk, and then we had to go on the road to Howard, and we had a really long film session, and maybe 3 hours. But I always say they don't have anything else to do in the hotel, so I control their schedule. So we had a long film session, and we beat Howard, and that started our 11-game win streak. And through that 11-game win streak, I learned when your team is rolling like that, the best thing you can do is just sit down and shut up. Obviously, they figured something out on their own on the court, and that's what you do as the coach. You want your team to be able to lead themselves. I think the fan engagement at South Carolina State with the championship has been over the top. Once again, everyone's excited. I think season ticket sales have gone up. But it's really just we're trying to get back to where they've been. It'd be different if we didn't have a history. But South Carolina State has a history of being a very good competitive basketball team, and that was my goal when I took the job. And obviously you need players like this in order to make that happen.
Yeah, players, I'll finish with you. What has it been like to be in practice with him or be in the hotel room and film sessions with him for 3 hours? What do you learn from Coach during all this quality time with him?
I would say, like, you know, outside of the court, just how to be a man, how to handle your business. You know, you got to take care of what you got to take care of. You know, you got certain goals in life that, you know, you aspire to be. You know, we all want to be great basketball players, and I think Coach does a great job of, you know, teaching us ways of life outside of basketball that translates to the court. So I'm grateful for that.
To piggyback off what Colin said, yeah, being with this guy in practice, film sessions, you know, he teaches us, yeah, just being able to do things, even if you don't want to do it, just still having to do it. That's the only way you're going to be great. And like he says to me all the time, you got to be uncomfortable. So that's the only way you're going to get better. And I feel like that's something that this new team is, taking on and trying to understand. And that's what last year's team took on and understood, which is why we had so much success.
Could drop a book with all the wisdom we've got up here from these student athletes today. The books are certainly on display, and we're excited for your season to start. You're going to the Yum Center to open up at Louisville. Beautiful arena, beautiful environment. You guys are going to have a lot of fun down there. And then back at home on November 19th in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Always a fun time down there in the Berg. So appreciate you, gentlemen, for joining us. Safe travels back to South Cackalack. We will see you this season soon. And coming up next, we're going to have the Howard or Norfolk State coming up soon. So stick around. MEAC Men's Basketball Media Day continues after this break.
Go Bulldogs.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
At Wells Fargo, we believe that doing can make a difference. That's why we've donated over $2 billion to strengthen local communities over the last 5 years. From more than $710 million to help address housing access and affordability, to roughly $420 million to help small business owners through nonprofits, to nearly $58 million to support scholarships and programming for students. Because doing gets it done.
There is a conference where the student and student athlete still matters, where geography means something, and where rivalries are measured in decades, not dollars. In this conference, we push one another to greater heights on the field, the court, the track, and in the classroom. Here, we stay true to our values, and we stay true to each other. The Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, where champions are made.
How did I get to the place I always imagined myself? Was it my hard work, my perseverance, my sheer sense of optimism, outside-the-box thinking? Or was it the timeless memories that I want to relive over and over, no matter what it was? Norfolk State University helped make my future real. A future where anything is possible. A future beyond my wildest dreams. And it all started here, Norfolk State University. We see the future in you.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
Welcome back into MEAC Basketball Media Days. We are wrapping up on the men's side here. We have none other than the Howard University Bison here on stage. Coming from the nation's capital, joining me on the stage is head coach Kenneth Blakeney. We also have preseason All-MEAC third teamer Cedric Taylor, and then we also have first teamer Bryce Harris. Appreciate you gentlemen joining us for another season of basketball. Coach, I'll start with you. It feels like this time last year when we talked about what the expectation is. It is always to be one of the final teams standing in March. How do you feel about this team? And I always ask you this, how do you feel about this year's team, and what does it look like inside the gym as you guys get ready for tip-off?
Yeah, well, thank you for having us. I love our guys. We have some incredible young men that have incredible character. They come to work every day and do a terrific job. I'm looking forward to being able to tip it up on November 3rd and kick off our season.
Now, this is the case every year. Now, you lose some contributors. You know, you have to replace some production. But what is it about these two guys right here that has you feeling really comfortable about the nucleus of this team and where you can go?
Well, I mean, between the two, they're both 6'5", 6'6", 225, 230 pounds.
I've never felt shorter.
Got two linebackers sitting beside me, so I'm comfortable going in any area, in any gym, and know that we have guys that are ready to compete.
We know that health plays a part as well. When you look back to last season and you're trying to remedy some of the things that maybe you fell short on last year, where do you feel like the depth of this team is going to be a strong? Do you feel like it's going to be a strong point with this team? Is that kind of what you attacked in the offseason to get some guys in and help supplant these stars right here?
No, absolutely. We think that being competitive across the board and having a roster that can pretty much put pressure on guys and teams throughout the game is really important for us. So our practices have been really competitive. We have 16 guys on our roster this year, and I feel comfortable with any of those guys in our lineup.
Cedric, I'll come to you here for a second. I've been asking all the guys who have went from the MEAC and D2 and NAIA that made it to the Division I level. The game is so different. The access to opportunities are different now. What is your message for student athletes that their journey is not linear, right? Where it's just, I'm Division I. You got to grind a little bit, get it out the mud. What was that journey like for you and your message?
Yeah, of course. I think the biggest thing is just never give up. I keep faith in God a lot. So, you know, of course, coming out of high school when I committed to a D2, I felt under-recruited, of course, but I knew I could play at the Division I level eventually, you know? So just keeping faith in God and talking to him every day. I would say to the next generation that maybe if you are under-recruited like me, just keep putting the work in and they'll find you eventually.
Bryce, they would call you one of the old men on the team now, right?
Definitely the old man.
So as a veteran, how are you feeling about this year's makeup? You've seen teams that are successful and what it looks like. So how are you feeling as you practice with these guys day in, day out?
I feel like the first thing you kind of look at is every one of your teammates' core values. You understand what they bring to the team, understand are they cool with having a role and buying into that role. Everybody on this team has a role, especially like, you know, guys like me, being an older guy. Like my voice is, you know, carries a lot more weight than it used to. You know what I mean? So honestly, just looking forward to those core values. Looking forward to just pushing our team's culture. That's like one of the biggest things right now. And then understanding, like, yes, there's a standard, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. You know what I'm saying? You know, we'll start off, we're not going to be at our peak, you know, first game coming out. We're going to come out to compete, though. You know what I'm saying? But we're not going to be, you know, where we need to be right away. But that's the course of the season. That's a good thing, you know what I'm saying, to be able to develop. We want to make sure that we peak in March.
And as players, what are you looking for in November, right? You know, like you said, it's not going to be a complete product, but what are you looking to see, you know, win or loss out there in November to feel good about where you're headed for January and conference play and so on?
Just driving the team's culture. Like, despite the results, making sure we go out there competing, number one, make sure we're playing smart, make sure we're playing hard. Understanding that, like, our connectivity is, like, the biggest thing that we gotta look forward to. You know what I mean? A lot of times, basketball is a sport where it might not always go your way. You know, you might do all the right things and still lose a game, but making sure you have that connectivity, well, it's the fibers of having a championship team at the end of the day. So.
And Cedric, what about yourself?
Yeah, just piggybacking off of that effort. You know, it's just something that you can't teach. So if we come out November 3rd against Missouri and just play as hard as we can, I think I'll live with results of the season. I mean, I think that puts us in a good place. And to build off that first game.
Coach, this is always an exciting time because we're talking right before homecoming comes around. Is that when it starts to get real? It's like, okay, it's our turn to get in there. And, you know, November 3rd, like you said, you guys start. But what is this time of the year like for you as you kind of, you know, shed the summer and you really get into that season mode?
Well, with 12 new guys, you're learning every day. And you want to try to grow every day. For us, it's, you know, Bryce has mentioned it, our culture. Our culture and what we do at Howard is really important. And we really lean heavily daily on our culture. So we just want to see growth every day, the competitive spirit every day, have no dips while we're practicing, have any dips in the classroom. So it's just important of how we do anything is how we do everything. And that's kind of one of the things we talk about with our team all the time.
Last question for you fellas. I hear from Howard University alumni every day. Why is there no place like the Mecca?
I would say just walking around and seeing future leaders around campus every single day, you know. I love being surrounded by black success, you know, coming from Morehouse to another top HBCU with Howard. It's just I love being surrounded by my people. So I feel like Howard's a special place, because we're in the nation capital, and we're surrounded by our leaders already. So, and just having those huge alumni, like, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, Kamala Harris popped up on campus on a random Friday in a bookstore, just chilling. And
just casually.
Casually, just hanging out, like being able to walk around a bookstore and see Kamala Harris, man, that's crazy. So it's a blessing, honestly.
I'd probably just say it comes down to the standard, right? So, like, a lot of kids, you see, like Cedric just said, you see black leaders every day, but these black leaders, they don't come from their hometown, long ways from home, just to be mediocre, right? Like, they people come around campus and they expect the utmost from themselves. They expect the utmost from the people around them. And you'll see sometimes they expect the utmost from the staff and everybody in the higher ups. But, like, having that constant pressure and understanding the expectations of what success looks like and what you need in terms of having the right traits and small things that you need to be able to be successful, not only in the classroom, but in extracurricular activities, clubs, networking, get in touch with, like, I say it all the time. Like, we was talking about Kamala Harris. You don't want to have a bad character on Howard University's campus, because the person in your classroom could be the next vice president of the United States.
For real.
So you don't want to have that type of reputation. So everybody expects a lot from themselves. Everybody expects a lot from their classmates. And we keep that standard for each and every one of us. So,
Coach, and I'll finish with you. When you hear these young men speak and all the players you've seen grow from young men to leaders by the time they leave campus, just how proud are you of that progress and journey that you continue to see year in?
Well, it was the vision of the Dream Factory, where if you come to Howard, anything that you want to do can be accomplished on that campus. And that was kind of the mission of our program when I took over, is to have an environment that was created for young men, young women, that they could reach their goals and dreams in anything they want to do in life.
We are looking forward to seeing you all this season in the nation's capital. Bryce Harris, we also had Cedric, and we also had Coach Blakeney as well. So appreciate you all joining us. Best of luck this season, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, coming up next, we are going to wrap up this show. One more team is on deck. Norfolk State joins us here on stage at MEAC Men's Basketball Media Day. Stick around after this quick timeout.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
Brighter futures begin here with students and faculty that bring campus projects to life with help from the Home Depot Retool Your School grants. With these grants, HBCUs have built innovative learning lounges, revitalized rec areas, and created peaceful wellness spaces, providing students with areas to learn, relax, and thrive. Through their dedication to uplifting their campuses, HBCUs are growing stronger, one grant at a time, one project at a time, one community at a time. Learn more at retoolyourschool.com. Retool Your School. We're powered by purpose.
There is a conference where the student and student athlete still matters, where geography means something, and where rivalries are measured in decades, not dollars. In this conference, we push one another to greater heights on the field, the court, the track, and in the classroom. Here, we stay true to our values, and we stay true to each other. The Mideastern Athletic Conference, where champions are made.
Howard University. You may know us for our athletic domination. You may know us as academic leaders who fuel an entire diaspora. You know, the capstone that shapes culture and builds champions. What we know is that this is the genius, tenacity, and talent that Howard cultivates. We know that we generate new questions and answer with profound solutions. Because here, we build glorious tomorrows. The Howard way.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
Welcome back into MEAC Men's Basketball Media Days. We are wrapping up. We have the reigning champions here on set. Norfolk State has joined me. I'm joined by head coach Robert Jones. I also have alongside me Jordan Leaks and Anthony McComb, and all preseason All-MEAC pick. Gentlemen, welcome to the stage in this afternoon. This is the unofficial, official start to the season. So we're going to walk back a year, Coach. Christian Ings on this stage last year says, just come out, support. You're going to see a show. What did we get last year? We got a show. We got an NCAA tournament appearance, and again, just another trophy on the shelf. So the success continues to sustain at Norfolk State. Walk me back to March and just everything that kind of encapsulated for you guys on a season that was a heck of a journey.
Well, for us, like you said, it was a real long journey, but we were able to capture the regular season title first. That was, we try to have small goals within the big goal. So we said that we wanted to capture the regular season title first, which we were able to do. And then we were able to get to the MEAC tournament and win those 3 games in March. But it's always a journey. We don't even look at Saturday. We just try to get there Wednesday, how to get to Friday. And then we get to Saturdays, you're there for all the marbles. So it was a great journey. It never gets old. Some people might think it does, but it never gets old. I feel it never gets old, and just the jubilation of that, everything that you've worked so hard to do comes together for those 3 days. So it was a great time, and hopefully we could do it again.
And how excited do you get then to kind of reinvent or evolve every year? Because, I mean, you've won 5 regular season titles. You've won the tournament 3 times. How does it not get, mundane, and how do you stay motivated and hungry to keep going?
Well, I think you try to find new goals, right? You try to find the fun within the journey. So it's like for us this year, we're trying to be the first HBCU to have 5 straight 20-win seasons in college basketball history. So that's the first check. And then after that, the regular season is another check. And then trying to figure out how to be the 2026 champions. The thing is, you can't really live in the past. You got to be more present. So the 2025 championship is great to talk about. It still brings smiles and everything to our faces, but it's all about the 2026 championship. How can we win those championships, and what is the necessary steps to do to achieve those goals?
Tell me about these 2 leaders right here that you have. It seems like every year the faces change up here, but the standard doesn't change. The results aren't changing. Tell me about these guys right here and how they're going to take the next step for this program.
I think with us, we set high goals, right? So once you set high goals, they become standards. So it goes back to the old cliche, the standard is the standard. So even though we have 11 new people, really I would say 15 new people, because the people we have returning didn't really play that much, including Jordan. But Jordan has done a great job with his leadership this year. With 15 new people, we're not going to break the standard or bend the standard. The goal is the goal and the standard is the standard. So Jordan and Anthony are actually our 2 captains. So they've been great. Anthony is I tell him he should be really humble, and being chosen a captain, he just got here. He hasn't scored not 1 bucket in a Norfolk State uniform, and his teammates felt like he should be captain. And Jordan is, in this day and age, a 3rd-year guy, even though this is only a 2nd-year eligibility. So he's one of the older people in the program as far as years in the program. So he knows the culture, he knows the standard, and he's been bringing that forward with the new guys.
And, for you, Jordan, what was it like from your perspective? You weren't playing as heavily as you will this year. What was that experience like to see you kind of just work through, it from the sidelines, and then eventually now it's your turn to step in there?
Yes, sir, most definitely. I feel like just the journey, learning from the older guys, Philly, Brian, Jalen. You learn a lot from those guys. Those guys are really good at what they do, and being that they play the same position as me, you learn a lot from those guys.
So you get to the tournament, you get to the big dance, and you see it, right? It's this big fanfare, right? You got these press conferences on these big risers, right? And all these moments. How much hungrier did it make you to say, now that I'm a leader, it's my turn to help lead this group back to the dance?
Yes, sir. It make you hungry for sure. I feel like this new year, having a lot of new guys, just showing them that culture, that same culture, not letting it die. So I feel like it's going to be a fun experience.
Anthony, what sold you on Coach Jones and this Spartan program, aside from, there's a championship culture here, but what sold you to say this is home?
On my visit, it was just felt real genuine. Coach Jones believed in me. The whole staff believed in me. Like you said, the championships played a part in it as well. But just seeing what he accomplished and how he does with his team, it really just felt like home, and it was genuine. So.
Now that the honeymoon is over, how's practice been? How's it been with?
Man, it's a grind. It's a grind, man. It's very competitive. It's a standard here, and our goal is to live up to that standard each and every day.
Coach, when you talk about Norfolk as a city, right? And I mean, we all saw it in March. We see it now, right? It's homecoming season. How exciting is it around this time of the year where everything starts to cross over and people start saying, all right, it's time to head over to Eccles, you know? So what is it about this part of the year that's super special as you kind of tune these guys up to get ready for tip-off?
I mean, the thing for us is that, you know, we start our tip-off week next week with a couple of different activities, and it's always good to go around town, especially with the success that we've had, for people to say, hey, you know, we're ready for basketball season, coach. We're ready for basketball season. So there is an expectation level. You know, I will say that. I think that the city of Norfolk has an expectation level. You know, Norfolk University athletics has an expectation level of the men's basketball program. We have an expectation level, which is probably higher than anybody's for the men's basketball program. So we're excited about the challenge. It's an exciting time of the year. Norfolk is a blue-collar city, you know, a hard-working city made up of a lot of great people, and we want to bring that blue-collar, hard-working energy to the city to be Norfolk's team, and that's what we're trying to do every day in practice.
We talk about it every year. Talk me through the strategy of this year's schedule and how it kind of came about.
A lot of games on this year's schedule came about by accident, honestly, because some of the games that we would like to play, I can't say unfortunately, but due to some of the recent success that we've had, we can't get those games. So therefore, we got to go play University of Arizona, University of Wyoming, you know, which is long trips for us, UTEP and El Paso, which we went a few times. So some of those games came about just out of necessity and not really a want. Now, I am excited about this is the first year that we're playing all the 757 teams. So there's a sense of pride in that. You know, there's 3 757 teams, well, 4, including us, but 3 that we're going to play. And we're excited about trying to defend home turf. So this is the first year.
Welcome back competition inside the city.
Yeah. This is the first year that we've actually done that. So we're excited about that. And, of course, going back to the Chris Paul tournament, you know, we're happy to be invited back to that. That's always a rival down there with the MEAC versus SWAC. The energy is intense, and Atlanta this year should be really intense. We play a really good Grambling squad. Coach Crary has done a great job with assembling that squad, and then we play a really good Jackson State squad. So we're excited about the schedule. Like I said, some of it came about by necessity, not really a want. And, of course, there's other teams like Townsend University, James Madison, which are really, really good mid-majors, and now you get a chance to show your national prowess, not just your MEAC or HBCU prowess. So we're excited about those games. I'm excited about the schedule.
Okay, Coach and players, I'm going to end it the same way I did last year. What can Spartan Nation and the rest of college hoops country expect from Norfolk State this season?
A show, like Philly said last year, a show. Hard, gritty team. Looking to go win a championship again.
Okay.
A hard, gritty team that's looking forward to win the championship. Like he preached all day, we win here. We win. That's what we coming to do.
I guess I got them brainwashed pretty good, so that's good. But, yeah, I think that's going to be a lot of new faces, but hopefully the same results. So I think that's what's going to happen. You're going to see a lot of new faces, going to be a lot of new household names, but hopefully when it comes to March, we'll be cutting down the nets again.
It's going to be an exciting season for you guys getting started here in just a few weeks. Best of luck this season, gentlemen.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to wrap this show up here after this quick timeout. The Norfolk State Spartans going to be defending their championship this season, and it all ends March 11th through 14th right here in Norfolk at Scope Arena for the championship. Stick around. We'll be right back to finish up Media Days after this break. What a day it has been here at the Norfolk Waterside District. MEAC Basketball Media Days are wrapping up. We had the women this morning. You can find that online, and, of course, find the all MEAC teams, the preseason order finish on MEACsports.com. But for the wrap-up of the men, let's take a look at the order of finish predicted by the coaches and sports information directors one more time. Coppin State coming in at 8. Maryland Eastern Shore at 7 and 6. Delaware State in 5. It's North Carolina Central and Morgan State, and then South Carolina State at 3, and then the top 2. It's Howard and Norfolk State once again. The season gets started in just a couple of weeks, and of course, it always ends right here in Norfolk at Scope Arena, March 11th through 14th, 2026. You can get your tickets now, but if you want to see those all MEAC teams, go to MEACsports.com. I am Mitch Brown. Appreciate the company this afternoon, folks. Of course, this has been MEAC Men's Basketball Media Days presented by Wells Fargo. Thank you to everybody behind the scenes that made this show happen. We'll see you same time next year, and of course, we'll see you for MEAC Countdown to Kickoff coming up soon later this month. Take care, folks.